Could a civilization's roads, aqueducts, armies truly make it the most dominant economic power on the planet? For ancient Rome, the answer was a resounding yes. Rome did not just become powerful, it became a synonym for wealth itself, a colossal entity whose financial might was built not on printing presses, but on conquest, concrete control. This is the story of how that immense wealth was forged. The Roman army was far more than a simple tool of defense or conquest. It was the primary engine of the state's economic growth. War, for Rome, was a profoundly profitable enterprise. Each successful campaign was a direct injection of capital into the imperial treasury, a violent but effective method of asset acquisition on a national scale. When a Roman general triumphed over a foreign king, the immediate spoils were often immense. Entire royal treasuries, gold bullion, silver coins, precious jewels, were seized and carted back to Rome. These windfalls funded lavish public celebrations, paid bonuses to soldiers, and financed the next round of expansion, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of conquest and enrichment. Victory meant land and resources, farms, mines, forests, now taxable and productive. And by enforcing the Pax Romana, legions guaranteed the security that made long-distance trade flourish. Rome presided over a truly globalized economy, the first of its kind in Western history. Its network was a web of sea lanes and caravan routes binding Europe, Africa, and Asia. Sea lanes and caravan routes fed a continental marketplace: Ostia near Rome, Alexandria in Egypt, and Carthage in North Africa. Their docks connected the empire into a single integrated system. To the north came timber, hides, amber, and slaves, extending Roman influence. To the south, caravans traded for gold, ivory, and exotic animals. To the east, silk from Han China drew silver out of Rome along legendary routes. Red Sea and Indian Ocean routes brought pepper, cloves, cinnamon, pearls, and fine cotton. Egypt fed Rome, Spain supplied silver and oil, Gaul and Italy shipped wine across the seas. A common currency, Roman law, and state infrastructure made commerce predictable and secure. The empire functioned as a massive common market, creating immense wealth across 3 continents. The immense Roman state, with its massive army and public works, was funded by a relentless system of taxation, the backbone of empire. Primary revenue, tributum soli, land tax, tributum capitis, head tax, assessed by census. Every province contributed: grain from Sicily, silver from Spain, feeding army and capital. Tax collection was often brutal, especially under the publicany system. Contractors bid at auction, paid up front, then squeezed locals for profit, breeding corruption. Later, salaried civil servants professionalized collection. Rome standardized money, aureus, denarius, sestertius, as. Coins paid soldiers and bought daily bread, spreading imperial authority via the emperor's portrait. But debasement funded wars, stoking inflation and instability. Argentieri took deposits, made loans, issued credit. Investors funded ships, mines, estates. With the aerarium and fiscus, meticulous records held a vast bureaucracy together. It is impossible to discuss the Roman economy without acknowledging its deepest and darkest foundation, the institution of slavery. Rome's wealth and grandeur were built on the backs of millions of enslaved people. Slavery was ubiquitous in nearly every facet of economic life. Legally, enslaved people were property, instrumentum vocale, talking tools. They were acquired by conquest, piracy, and birth. On latifundia, gangs labored to produce grain, wine, and olive oil at scale. Mines, often a death sentence, yielded silver, gold, and iron. In cities, enslaved labor built infrastructure and powered workshops and docks. Forced labor lowered costs, enabling monumental projects and cheap goods. Yet the human cost was immeasurable, suffering that underpinned Rome's prosperity. Wealth and tragedy were inseparable foundations of the Roman economy. The Romans were master engineers, and their projects were calculated economic investments. Roads famously straight and durable crisscrossed the empire, linking cities, forts, and far provinces for rapid military movement. But economically, they slashed travel times and increased safety for trade. Aqueducts like Pont de Gard and Aqua Claudia delivered reliable urban water. Water enabled megacities, vast markets, and powered mills and industry. Artificial harbors with breakwaters, deep basins, and lighthouses mastered sea trade. Ports added warehouses, cranes, and customs, industrial zones for maritime commerce. Roads, bridges, aqueducts, canals, and harbors formed one integrated network. Goods flowed from inland to port to city seamlessly. Better infrastructure drove more trade, more tax, and more investment, a virtuous cycle. This strategic engineering was one of Rome's most enduring innovations. Rome's economic rise and fall are a blueprint with lessons for today. Its model mixed military force, pragmatic law, and transformative infrastructure. Project power to secure routes, establish common rules, connect markets at scale. Security, law, and infrastructure remain the essential triad of prosperity. But Rome warns of hidden costs: expansionism, heavy taxation, and slavery's brutality. Economies create winners and losers, then and now. Who benefits from our supply chains? And what are the hidden costs of consumption? The clearest lesson: strategic, long-term public infrastructure catalyzes growth. Rome built for generations, creating value for centuries. By connecting people, facilitating trade, and improving life, Rome made a system greater than its parts. Learn from the past to understand the present. Follow how systems shape wealth, power, and society. If you found this exploration insightful, subscribe to the Sovereign Archives and join our next journey into history.